go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to share, put my readers on so I don't get in trouble sharing to someone I'm not supposed to be sharing. And then sit here and I'm going to talk to you guys. It has been cold here. We had snow on the ground. I remember, this is the funny part, guys. I can remember growing up in San Antonio, you know, in my teens, 20s, and in my 30s. I think I seen one snow in my, it was in the 80s, 80 something. Where it snows. We seen snow last year. We seen snow this year. About 3 years ago, big snowstorm hit. In the last 6 years, we've had 3 different snow events here, big ones. And which is pretty amazing. But it's cold. We haven't been out. I think Clem went out and hit a little bit. Tonight's going to be a little different, guys. We're going to get into a bunch of question and answers that I've been kind of accumulating that I need to get off and talk about them. Next week will be, next Wednesday will be, I'll be in Florida. I'll be in Savannah. I think we're driving to Florida on Thursday. So next Wednesday, I will be at Short Porch doing a live podcast from there. I will be doing a lot of live. One Nation. That bat is taking off. That 220 bat, excuse me. So, I think I'm going to be able to share to a lot more people tonight because I was on probation till the 19th. And I think I can share to a lot more people now. So basically, if you share too much, you know, which I've got a lot of people that I can share to, they think that you're trying to get more likes. And that's basically not what we're here to do. We're actually to spread knowledge, spread the movement, talk about different bats, talk about U-Trip and senior bats, talk about what better bat fits your bat speed, soft barrel, hard barrel, and a whole variety of health, nutrition. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. I'm going to go through all of my supplements that I take. If you guys want to write some of this down, after I've already got it, guys. So after I do this podcast, I'm going to post all of the supplements that I take and the milligrams that I take. Now, listen to this. When you don't take the milligrams that I take, you're going to have to build up to a lot of this stuff. But like L-arginine, you've got to take more than 500 milligrams of L-arginine. So, but I would start off, you know, not necessarily at 1,000 milligrams a day. L-lysine, the same way. You're going to have to take a lot of L-lysine, and work your way up to that. Why did it take me off of there? And work your way up to that. When you do too many of them, I guess it takes you off. Like you're done. You are done. There are some things I want to clarify tonight too, and I think this is a better. I see my mom jump on there. How's it going, Mom? Hope you're warm. There are some things I want to clarify tonight and educate, basically, because that's Bat Boys. Short Porch Bat Boys are coming out. I think that's you misspelled something there. Do I know when the Short Porch Bat Boys? That's another thing too, guys. I'll try to answer your questions tonight. I do not have any guest bat bags. Okay, here's the deal. We're getting some prototypes sent to us. They're coming from out of the country. And then we're going to because they're going to be bare, right? So we're going to take those and get the input from a lot of the short porch people, factory hitters, reps, and actually everybody's going to put their 2 cents in, basically. We're waiting on that product to get to us where we can start designing. We do not want to do the same, we call it reinventing the wheel. There are some things that Jeff knows about when it comes to building bats and Leslie, and because Jeff in his baseball, and then you have Christian, who is going to give his 2 cents in on what he thinks, compartments and stuff like that. I know for a fact one of the big things that they want to work on is a frame, something that you can stand up and it has a frame. Because a lot of the bats out there that I have had experience with in the last 15 years are very flimsy. I do like bat bags that actually stand up on their own, 4 wheels, kind of like you can take it in the airport and roll it around. I do like those, a pretty tough zipper, basically. So it actually holds up from being zipped up and zipped down, especially going inside the airport and getting bumped around. There will be no fluorescent colors, as I was told by Jeff. It's gray, black, no white too much because of it getting bumped around in the airport. And then at the ball field, because it does get dirty there. How you doing, Betty? And Mikey? And getting bumped around in the airport. So basically something that that looks good, can carry a lot of things. It's going to have try to put ice chest in it, something you can carry around water. Preferably it's only water. Well, some people out there. And so basically what I'm going to do is talk about a lot of question and answers. I'm going to try to clarify some things about Kevlar tonight. So just hang on, let me get to it. The one thing, starting off at the beginning, I do have a YouTube channel, guys. On that YouTube channel, what I'm going to start doing is I have a membership channel. My viewership, and it's called Short Porch Cutting Edge is the name of it, and it's gotten bigger. And it's bigger than my YouTube channel has ever been. Thanks, Danny. It's bigger than it's ever been. Nick, how you doing? And that's surprising to me. Keith, where have you been, man? I've seen you for the first time. You've been with me since the beginning when I was Senior Softball Bat Reviews, Keith Flockner. And I didn't see you for a long time, but then again, I lost my channel last year, and I didn't get to see you again, but I just recently got connection with you. How's it going? So, that YouTube channel has gotten huge, and that's surprising to me because when I got off Senior Softball Bat Reviews, it kind of lost some people and then gained a lot more people back. And I think it has a lot to do with people wanting to know the new technology. People want to know what better fits their swing because of their bat speed, their height, their weight, all that other stuff that we've been preaching. If you guys did not, there she is. If you guys did not watch Rachel's podcast last night, I watched it last night, and then I watched it again. I'm watching people say stuff, but it's my Tony. If you guys didn't watch Rachel's podcast last night with Leslie, I like that them two talking together because they got together. Good to see you too, Keith. Them two together talking about different things on how Leslie got started, and then Tom, I will tell you, Jeff will probably know more about that because I'm actually just a passenger. He's a driver. But it's that ISSA tournament. I'll let you guys know the further that I get there on where I'm going to be, though, because I'll be in Savannah, Georgia on Tuesday and Wednesday, and be hitting and hit tracks on the new bats that are going to be coming in, the prototypes that will be in there. We are working with prototypes to kind of, we call it tuning them in and then sending them off. So basically that's what we'll be doing in a lot of video, guys. I'll be doing basically a journey, a journey on me going up there and just meeting and greeting them. The camera's going to be going all the time when I'm there too. So just to get everybody up there at the tent, I'll be with Todd. Jeff will be playing. Leslie will probably be hanging out with us. She'll probably be with the tent with us a little bit, and then videotaping. Doing a lot of videotaping. I think she's going to do too. I will be in Tampa. Yes, I will be in Tampa next week. ISSA tournament, not the SSUSA tournament, which starts this week, I think. So I'll be in there next week. So basically, on that YouTube channel, guys, I have a membership channel. What's up, Clem? Did you hit today or yesterday, Clem? On that YouTube channel, I have a membership channel. Now, I'm going to talk about some things on that membership channel that I don't talk about on this show right here, and I don't talk about on YouTube. But I figured those guys, I very transparent on that membership channel. I will not be talking about how to build bats like I used to. You hit today, you trip bats, right, Clem? I won't be talking about how to build bats anymore. I quit doing that. The one thing I did do, guys, because a lot of people out there, this is funny, where you got to cover your ass all the time when it comes to this, is a lot of people out there are saying the same things I've been saying for a long time. So what I did on that YouTube channel, on that membership channel, is I opened up all of my behind the scenes. Now, on those behind the scenes, guys, if you know, been around for 15 years, 16 years, going on 16 years, you know that I say a lot of things on how to build bats on that behind the scenes. And I talk about barrel flex, handle flex, what's better bat fits your swing. So I opened it up. I kind of closed it whenever I became I started working with Short Porch. And then I closed it up because I didn't want anybody getting that information. But there's not any information on there that anybody would benefit on that they don't already know. So I opened it up too because it says there are things that I say on there that a lot of people are using as their own words now. So I opened it up so you guys can go back and look. Like I was talking about that stuff 12 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. The one thing I will say, I got off subject here a minute ago, was Rachel Good did a podcast last night, and I think she's going to be a star going in that podcast direction. She can talk. She's very knowledgeable when it comes to bats. For a short period of time that I've been talking to her, that Short Porch has been talking to her, she's got great knowledge, as do all the other girls, Stacy Carr, and the other girls that are part of the La Familia, the family. And just listen to Leslie talk and listen to Rachel talk last night. If you guys haven't seen that podcast, go back. It's on Short Porch West Coast. I think that's what it is. Short Porch West or West Coast, Rachel. And it's everywhere. Everybody shared it. And just to hear them talk for 45 minutes, it's pretty awesome. I think Short Porch was snowed in. They've got a lot of snow. They got more than what we did. We got an inch, and it's nice to see that, but it's still cold. And we can't go out and hell. I don't think I've hit in 2 weeks, and I'm kind of like antsy in the mornings, usually when I Short Porch West Coast. There you go. Go by and look at that podcast. She's going to, and that's her first podcast, and she was that good. She's going to be amazing. And I texted her last night. I said, that was a great podcast. we've got a couple other podcasts. The Porch is coming back. I saw that the other day. That was a podcast that was going when I first started doing podcasts 2 years ago. And they started for a few months. They were actually very popular. How you doing, Alan? They were actually pretty popular, and then they dropped off, and I think now they said it's back. So the Porch is coming back with their podcast. I think the more we have when it comes to podcasts, and I don't give a shit who they are that's doing it, I think the more opinions that you get out there, I'm all for that. And listen to everybody. What I don't like is if you don't have an opinion, you know, if you don't like something, don't just get up there and spew hate and spew stuff that you say is knowledge, but it's not really knowledge because you haven't done your research in it. So misinformation out there in softball, guys, I'm not talking about just senior softball. I think in softball, misinformation is rampant. And I don't know if it's ever been like that because it's almost like these guys are out there, I think, therefore I am. In other words, what comes out of your mouth is the truth. And I'm gonna debunk a little bit of that tonight. And it's not because I just don't think they're being assholes. It's because I don't think they're informed, or they haven't picked up a book, or they haven't looked or did any research, you know. And a couple of them are from pretty well-known guys that are out there when they talk about Kevlar. You know, and I'm just going to reiterate things that you guys have heard in the last 2 months with people, the naysayers are talking about Kevlar. And we're not getting the same thing that they're actually talking about. So there are some things out there that I do want to address tonight, and that's later on, that I do want to talk about. But Rachel Good is going to have her podcast. I think Rachel's going to be on Tuesdays. And then we have Matt Barnes on Thursday, which has his own organization that he's going to run. Thank you, sir. Kind of like this one. I love this one, dude. This one's badass. This is a Gulf Coast jersey Alan gave to me a while back. Actually, when I was in Florida, Alan. But yeah, definitely. I'll hook up. There are some things. We'll talk about that next week, Alan, whenever we do the podcast out of Savannah. We're going to be up there with you guys. We're going to be up there with you guys and basically talk what we're going to have going on when they're up there. A lot of video, a lot of Facebook Live when we are there. Yes, when are you going to be in Tampa? I will be there next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I leave on Sunday. I will be in Savannah, Georgia on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we're driving down on Thursday, I think, is what it's going to be. We were talking to me about that today. So yes, I will be there, and hopefully I get to talk to everybody. That's my biggest goal. I'll be there watching, not playing, and I think that's great because me watching, it's just so hard. Me playing, it's just so hard to actually get out and basically talk to a lot of people, and that's basically what I want to do is because I think in person it's a lot different. This is so funny. Yesterday I was in H-E-B, which is a grocery store here in San Antonio, and I was mad because there was no eggs. We got an inch of snow on the ground here in Texas, guys, and everybody goes in there and buys the eggs, the pan sausage, and toilet paper, and that's all they bought. I was so mad in there. I was like, God dang. On an inch of snow, and it got in the 40s during the day, and it got 25 at night. I mean, and then we got to lock everything up here in San Antonio, and I was mad walking around getting stuff. Luckily, I didn't need the carton eggs. I got the regular egg whites. So, and someone says, so I'm walking around, and some older guy goes, Dave, and I looked at him and go, yeah. It was a guy that was a fan, and he on my Facebook page, and we just started talking for about 30 minutes, I guess, and then we kept talking and talking. And there were some things that I want to talk about tonight that we actually yes, definitely, Tom. The guys are playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Then I might try to get down there a little earlier too. I'll talk to Jeff about that. So there was something that he talked about on that health and nutrition stuff that I talk about on Wednesdays that I want to talk about a little bit about that tonight too, and how I came to finding out these little things that were wrong with me. And I know it's a lot of you guys going to be on here saying, well, hell, Dave, you said that last month. But I have a lot more people that are chiming in and watch for the first time or the second. Keith is one of the ones that on the first time that he's been. And I've known Keith for years, you know, and then finally we hooked back up, and he sent me a friend request and I got him on here. But he didn't hear any of that stuff that I want to talk about later on. I'm going to go through all of my supplements again. There was one that I left out, benfotiamine. It's a vitamin A. And I want to talk about that one too. So basically, I just want to talk about all these podcasts that are coming up. I think we need more knowledge. And the one thing I am getting away from is on that membership channel, on that YouTube channel, is I will spew. I will talk about the gossip that a lot of people, and it's not hearsay, it's actually text messages or YouTube or Instagram message or just messenger from people talking about different things Jim, there you go, that I want to talk about, and I want to say, okay, that's not right. This is what my opinion is and what I think about it. Kind of like the question and answers I'm going to get to here in a minute too, and kind of talk about that. I have a buy, sell, and trade. That's another thing too. I have a buy, sell, and trade out there, guys. The one thing I will say, especially nowadays, is watch for scammers. Watch for people trying to sell bats that are low in compression, that there's no use for you. Because what I see happening is a lot of people are trying to, they lose compression in a bat. It might get down to like 120, 130. So what they do is they sell them for $100, $75 on these buy, sell, and trades, and you don't know what the compression level is on it. So you buy it, you take it out, you got that 90-mile-an-hour bat speed, and that bat's no good for you. You know, a lot of those guys that have that high bat speed and they swing that bat, they're going to lose that compression. They say it's only got 70 swings on it. They can, if you got 100 miles an hour, you can pull that compression level down to 120, 130 very easily on a lot of bats out there. It's not like it used to be, guys. I'm telling you right now, the people, you know, I'm not saying you can't trust all of them, but there's people out there just trying to make a buck and they're trying to sell things. So I would say do your research when it comes to buying bats from people on any page. There is a ton of buy, sell, and trade groups out there. I have one. I talk about it. You know, I have one that's actually private now. And if you want to join it, guys, I've had a lot of people in the last 5 days that wanted to join it, but don't answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, it's me, Rachel, or Patty will just not even look at you. We'll just say deny if you don't answer the questions. We try to keep out a lot of the T-shirt manufacturers from out of the United States. From overseas, we try to keep those out. We actually support U.S. made stuff, or even from Canada, stuff that's made from there. So if you know you see anybody that's on my page, you definitely, if you see any of the bat, they talk about the T-shirts, right? They are trying to sell you all these customized T-shirts, and they're from overseas. We don't do that. We don't recommend anybody get any of those. There are some good ones over there, but there are some bad ones where they're just going to try to take money from you and not give you the product. So I'd rather just you guys not stay. We got so many people in the United States that can get your stuff and is very reliable here in the United States. So that's another thing too that we try. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, guys. Get a hold of me everywhere. On that membership page, I say gossip, but I'll talk about the things that people are saying that I don't see, but the minions see, and they'll send me a picture of it, or they send me a text message, or they send me a email that they got from somebody, and this guy said this guy, I will address that and that membership. Not necessarily put it all out here, but I'll address that in that membership, guys. The one thing, and I'm going to start this off. This is one thing I'm going to put in there when I'm going to start this off. Guys, we are playing senior softball. Every year about this time, I recommend every senior out there go to your doctor, get some blood. But Charlie Mueller, how are you doing, Charlie? How's the knees going? Guys, get your blood work done. There are some things I can talk. I could sit here and give you some more examples of things to get checked. Definitely EKG. That would be the first thing if you haven't been to a doctor before. If you're like me, I go to the doctor quite a bit. I have a cardiologist. Bob, you're in trouble, Bob. You knew I was coming on at 6, and here you are. When you guys go get your checkup, have them check everything. I would even say have them check your prostate. I mean, which I think nowadays they don't do the finger nowadays like they used to. And that was one thing I dreaded about going in years ago and getting it checked. They do a PSA test, and then if that needs to be looked at, then they'll look at other things, even up to the finger test. So, and something we have to do, man. I'm just telling you. But definitely get your blood work done. A1C, your D3 levels, your B12 levels, your DHEA levels. Because if your DHEA levels are low, you'll have low testosterone. These are just little things. There's other things too that I can tell you get old. These are just the main things that I know. There's other stuff too. Your cholesterol, definitely. But guys, make sure that when you get your cholesterol checked, that you know what your numbers are, and you know what you need to do. The one thing I will say is, and I'm not a doctor, so do some research in what I'm telling you. Don't do what I tell you to do. It's just that when you go in and your cholesterol was supposed to be at 200 and you're at 206 and he wants to put you on cholesterol medicine, guys, you can change your diet a little bit to get those numbers down in the 150s. If you cut your sugar, if you cut your carbs, you don't have to take medication. You can I can see if your cholesterol level was blown up, right? Your bad cholesterol was just blown up. And I can see getting on something temporarily until you get it in check with your diet. But definitely try diet first when you're barely over those levels. Too many doctors out there, and I've talked to them about this, where they try to get me on cholesterol medicine. My cholesterol is at 136 now, and they're still trying to put me on cholesterol medicine. It's just, I work out. I can run. I'm not sitting on the couch all the time. I'm not in risk. The only thing I don't want them to do to me is cut my cholesterol. I get tired when they try doing that. I don't heal as fast because you need cholesterol to heal. My brain doesn't function like it should because your brain needs cholesterol. So those are just things that I will say when you go in there. Don't just get on it because he tells you to get on it. Do some research. Cut out the sugars, cut out the carbs, try to lower it yourself. Find out what's causing it. Could be your diet. The number one reason is your diet, guys. How you doing, Trey? Glad to see you show up a little late. What time is it? You're going to get docked. So definitely your test levels too. I've said this to every senior out there. You're watching this, even with the ladies out there. Rachel kind of went off of this last night and she's going to talk about it a little bit more too, is even the ladies out there that have to get all this checked out, your A1C checked out, your D3 checked out, your B12, your DHEA, your cholesterol, your yes, ladies, testosterone too. Really, Trey? IGF-1 levels, if you want to go as far as HGH levels in your body, there's a test called IGF-1. It's a simple blood test. You can find out, and if it's low, you can go into other areas on how to test your IGF-1, your HGH levels too. Ladies, thyroid, definitely. One of the leading causes nowadays for the ladies is the thyroid. Let me say something here too before I get, this is about to be the last thing I say when it comes to getting your blood work done. The ladies are getting older, right? So as you get older, premenopause, you're going in, or menopause, right? So your thyroid's going to give you fits. But the one thing that can help with your menopause is testosterone replacement therapy. So ladies, just do some research into that, right? So I know a lot of you ladies are up here watching because I have had a lot more ladies that have watched this is if you're menopausal right now, ask your doctor about getting on testosterone because it will help you girls out there. Do some research into that. I'm just actually what I'm doing is I'm just guiding you in that direction. I'm not telling you what to do or don't do it. I'm just telling you get in that direction. Or if you guys have your wife out there that she's menopausal and she's just not the way she used to be and she's just fighting through it, don't fight through it. Kind of get some help on what better. Yeah, message Rachel about that. She's going to handle all that. And the one thing about me and Rachel is we kind of hit it off when I don't know what that is. She's like a little sister to me. But when we talk to each other, it's for a long time at night. And we both have that passion. We almost like she has the mind of a teacher, right? So she wants to get out there and teach and she wants to help people. That's their biggest thing, Rachel is. So get a hold of her, the ladies. I know a lot of ladies won't call me and talk to me, but get a hold of her and talk to her. She can guide you in that right direction because testosterone does help relieve the symptoms of menopausal women. Do some research in it. The one thing on you men out there, another thing too, is every man out there, and I'm going to kind of go through the health part of this at the beginning. Every man out there will get prostate cancer. I've talked to doctors about it. My son-in-law is a doctor, and I ask him questions about it, and it's true. Depending on when you get it, guys. So a lot of men, as they get into their 70s and 80s and 90s, they won't even treat it if they do get prostate cancer. What I try to do is I try to preventive maintenance. I take stuff to actually help me. If I'm going to get it, which I want to get it in my 90s. I don't think I'll make it that far, but I want to get it into my 90s where I'll just be out of it anyway. So I want to prolong it as long as I can. The best stuff out there that I have done research on is Pygium. And I know that's backwards, but at the end of this video, I'm going to have a list of all this stuff and how much I take of it. And like I was saying earlier, I wouldn't recommend it. You guys taking my dose. It's just what I work myself up to. Start off low, a recommended dose, and then go high with it as you go longer if it doesn't upset your stomach, which none of these do to me. The L-lysine has to be taken on an empty stomach. Just little things like that. But every little list, there's nothing to. Every little list that I give you, go to Google and Google it and pick it up and see what the recommended dose are. Should you take it on an empty stomach or a full stomach? And then I will tell you these little stories, right? Like I am right now. I worked freight. I had a freight company for 10 years, me and my wife. We hauled cable for AT&T and Sears repair products. So we had 24-foot box trucks for working on Sears. I had 7 trucks. I had 21 people under me. I had seven box trucks working 24/7. And then that's on Sears. And then on AT&T, I had trucks working 5 days a week, going 24/7. We delivered all of the big wire on flatbed trucks with Moffett. So I was working 24/7. Well, I was tired, so I was consuming caffeine and caffeine and caffeine. That's how come it's whenever I hear about a senior that actually had passed away out there and in his sleep, and a lot of people, I kind of ask questions on, oh, okay, what did they do? You know, where they consume caffeine all day long on these monster drinks. The monster drink is what killed them, you know, you know. And I said, well, no, monster drink was probably given to him as because he had to stay awake during the day, and then he would try to wind down at night, you know, and he wouldn't be sleeping because there was something wrong with him. Why wasn't he getting enough sleep? So I went to the doctor because I was having trouble sleeping, and I had bags under my eyes. I wake up, eyes were bloodshot. I went to I was having high red blood cells. So I went in, they checked me for hemochromatosis, which is a genetic disease that actually has the bone marrow create high red blood cells. So I was having high iron and high red blood cells. So I had this well-known doctor was testing me for like 3 years, and she couldn't come up with what the hell the problem was. And then she retired. She went to a different practice, and all of a sudden this big Russian woman come in, and she had that accent, right, that Russian accent, and she looks at my chart. The first day I went to go see her, she looks at my chart. She goes, "You have sleep apnea." And I'm going, "How do you?" But in a Russian accent, it was pretty neat. I go, how do you know that? And she's like, well, your red blood cells are too high. We've tested for everything. It's got to be sleep apnea. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I blew her off. I went back about 2 months later and I got fleeked again because my red blood sugar. She goes, have you been to a sleep doctor? And I said, no, not yet. And then she's mad, right? And she goes, looks at me and she leans over and looks me right in the eye and she goes, you're going to die in your sleep if you don't go see a sleep doctor. This has been happening too long. So she kind of lit a fire. And, you know, I was like, oh, crap, I've got kids. You know, I had kids later on in life. I said, I have a job. I can't get rid of that. You know, I can't leave that. So I went down and got my sleep study. It was a long time ago. Right now, they just strap something to your chest, put a little thing on your finger, and send you home. I had to spend the night there. So it was on a Friday. I wasn't working on a Friday. I walk in there. They hooked me all up. Everything was hooked up, all up and down to my toes. And I lay there. I went to bed at 9. He comes in about 1 o'clock in the morning, hooks up a CPAP machine. And he goes, let's see if this works. I thought I was sleeping. I didn't feel anything. Thought I was sleeping. Next morning, he comes up. He goes, okay, here's a questionnaire. How do you feel? So I felt great. I was like, whoa, I felt better than I felt in years. And then I go, I guess I have it then, right? And he goes, I can't tell you. He goes, do your appointment in 2 weeks and he'll come back and tell you. Long story short, I went in there, I had sleep apnea. I stopped breathing 60 times an hour. So what happened was my oxygen levels were getting down to 46%. Now, guys, when you have COVID, your oxygen level, when you're supposed to be in the hospital, you're at 85, 84. When you get below 90, when you have COVID, you got to go to the hospital. I was at 64. So I cut out breathing and my heart started racing to get blood to my brain, to get more oxygen to my brain. So I was like, holy crap. Right away, they put me in, that same day, they put me in a CPAP machine. I went home. Guys, I did the same thing you guys did. I tore it off, but I kept wearing it. And I got better. I slept through the night. You know, I think a lot of you guys out there have this. A lot of you guys out there have this. I'm trying to read what they have and really don't know it. Really don't know that you guys actually have this. And I was fatigued during the day. I was just, I couldn't, I couldn't function. I had brain fog. And I was running a company and I had brain fog. I just couldn't do anything, guys. But if you snore, you're tired during the day, guys, go get checked. It's easy nowadays. I don't understand. Anyway, the thing, we're seniors, guys. Go get checked before you start off the year playing softball. Have everything checked out. If you're hurting, get that checked out too. Knee problems, ankle problems, elbow problems, back problems, chiropractor. I am a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in a chiropractor, guys. Chiropractor kept me out of the hospital for a long time. A long time. To this day, a chiropractor has kept me out of getting neck surgery and back surgery. I will read a lot of that later. Anyway, a lot of you guys, a few of you guys asking me, and I know this is going to hit home here. I mean, a lot of you guys out there are football fans. I have not watched football, and I guarantee you, probably around 15 years. I'm an old school football guy from back in the day in the 70s and 80s. I've been watching. I should be stopped reading that stuff, but I was a big football fan in the back 70s and 80s, guys. I cannot watch football now. I think a lot of the baseball too. It's just me. Basketball, I quit watching 2.5, 3 years ago. I never watched a lot of it before that. I think not all of them, but I think a few of them are staged. I think they have, I kind of know a little bit more than a lot of people out there when it comes to basketball. I think it's all about money and who they can get to watch when it comes to that. I think they and I say refs when I say they, but I think a lot of the refs out there kind of have an agenda on who they want because of the marketing when it comes to the advertising for the NFL or the NBA, you know, or even baseball. So Yankees have a big draw. Lakers have a big draw. You know, they have somebody that they like that bends the knee. I think they have a big draw. I really don't think, this is just me, guys, and I know I'm going to piss Murray off here. I don't think if Taylor Swift had anything to do with Kansas City, that Kansas City wouldn't be what they're at. I do think Patrick Mahomes is a badass quarterback. I will say that. I just don't. They just get a lot of calls, man, and I see them, and that's the reason why I stepped away. I don't like that shit. I don't like that they have umpires out there that and it happens in softball too. It's called home cooking when it comes to softball. You guys know what home cooking is, right? And I hated that when it happened to us too. I remember playing in Vegas, and we played against California teams. Nothing against California, but and then the umpire's from California, and he's talking to those guys and calling them out by name. And there's some calls that just didn't go our way, and it's all on video too. You guys can watch it because I videotape all my games. So anyway, I'd rather not watch football, and I know that's but they've made everything where, you know, it's not really football anymore. It's not the way I grew up. It's shitball. It's skirt ball, and no disrespect for women. I'm just saying it's dumbed down football. All right, on my little rant there. Anyway, shaving. I keep talking about it every week because I don't want it to die. I do think it's a. I do think it's a problem out there. I cannot wait to see in 2025 what's going to be done with it, because we're just now starting to play tournaments. SSUSA tournament in Florida. Are they going to do any testing? You know, ISSA that really doesn't do any testing, and you got Half Century that does testing, and I think their testing is at 150. You got 140 compression testing. And I'm in agreement with Matt Barnes. We're going to testing is flawed. I understand that, and it is. Because I think somebody had said that they just want to create an even playing field, and the testing at 140 doesn't create an even playing field. It actually puts a disadvantage toward the older guys, you know, that actually can use that 130, that 125, that 130, 135 compression. A lot of the guys with that fast bat speed, it does nothing for them but make the bat a piece of shit. That's what I need to, a lot of people need to understand that too, is if I put that bat, let's say, you know, if I put that bat at a 140 compression and a Brandon Murray, which, happy birthday, Brandon Murray, if you're watching this, happy birthday today. If I put a 140 compression or a 130 compression in Brandon Murray's hands, he will hit like shit with that bat. His bat speed is just way too high for that bat. And a lot of these people, and I understand it's 140 is a start. I understand that. Maybe next year it'll change. And I understand they have caught some people. And I understand that a lot of people pass compression allegedly. And a few people got off the hook. And it's like I just got through talking about football and sports like that. I sure hope that these sanctioned companies don't turn into, they're going to do whatever they want to, because the guy that got popped, I'm trying to hold off on this, but the guy that got popped is a well-known name, and they cannot put his name out there. And I sure hope that that's not the direction it's going to, because I do know a few people behind the scenes, and that's how come maybe get a third party involved, you know, and just not you, because if you put that name out there that, you know, I don't know. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But if you put that name out there, it actually hurts you to put that name out there. So if you're that organization, so I think that is bullshit. I think there needs to be more study on it. I think there needs to be a third party where if you compression test the bat, it goes right straight to that third party. And I don't think any names to be put on that bat. Needs to be a number, a SKU number that associates that way. That third party does not know who that name is, whose name is on that bat. The only way to keep that's the only way you can do that. You know, if you have a third party, only one person knows who that bat tests to. You send it to a third party. They don't know who it tested to. And they can cut it, see if it's been shaved or not. Go back to that third party. Yes, it has been shaved. And the third party needs to release the name, or release the SKU number. SKU number needs to match up. So that's the only way I actually think it'd be done. Or you're going to get people that are going to cheat. Again. That's all I'm going to say about that. Rolling. There's nothing I can say about rolling anymore. It's a rule. They can test for it. They say that you can test for it. They can test for it. So I'm going to say, don't do it. Don't roll it. Don't take that chance. Don't take that chance. Stay away from it as far as you can. Don't take that chance where you put that in other people's hands to make that decision for you. And because you don't know, because of just what happened a month ago. That scares the shit out of me. I'll tell you what it does. The other stuff scares the shit out of me. Heat warmers, guys, that's another one too. You don't want to be at a tournament. They outlawed heat warmers. You don't be out of a tournament with that heat warmer in the sun, and you got bats in it, you know, and tournament director walks by and sees them. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth 10 years. You know, the rolling part, it's not worth 10 years. So definitely stay away from that stuff. Don't roll your bat. Don't get a heat warmer. Heat warmers work. That's another thing too. A lot of people, I need to say that. Heat warmers work. Now, to the severity that they work, it depends on what bat you have. I will say that. There was a video. That's another thing too. There was a video that I was going to put out, and I talked about it. It's ready to go, about heating up your bat does work, and it really does. It does. But I'm not putting it out there because it's already says heat warmers are illegal. You can't use them. So why would I put the video out? You know, and I thought about it. I'm not going to say you guys need to do this, or say you guys need to heat up your bat when it can get you in trouble. I'm not going to do that. Don't do it. They already said they're gonna fine you 10 years if you get caught doing that. You know, do they work? Yes. I'm not to explain to you the severity that they work, but yes, they do work. I've tested it. I got the video sitting there. So yes, they do work. Heat warmers do work. You know, I can sit here and talk about the severity, but it's irrelevant now. It doesn't matter. They don't care. You know, because you can't do it. You can't do it. So you guys that are putting those bats, I don't think, what are they going to do? Are they going to see you at Vegas like I seen last year? Your bat's sitting on the rocks out in the sun in 100-degree weather, you know? Are they going to fine you for that? You know, it's you know, it's more severe than putting it in. It's more severe doing that than putting it in a bat warmer, you know? That's more severe. So what are they going to do then? You know, fine you for keep taking them out of the dugout and leaving them in the sun. I don't know. Just don't do it. Compression testing, another thing too. I talk about this. Compression testing has got to the point right now where it's trickled into, like we started talking about compression testing on what, you know, going from a 145 to a 230 compression, depending on your bat speed. In that long compression testing and numbers that I'm just telling you about, 220, 235, Brandon Murray, 235, great. Bubba Blake, great bat for them. The 210 to 225, that's where I would put them. You got the 190s, 195, 200. You would put not Kevlar. Not Kevlar. I'm not talking about Kevlar. Kevlar is a totally different monster, and I'll get to that in a minute. All these other bat companies out there, So I would put that in different other people's hands depending on their bat speed. So the more bat speed you lose, the more barrel flex you got to have. So your compression testing goes down, right? So what's happening to a lot of these people that are buying bats on this buy, sell, and trade is you should have, if you're out there, and I know this is freaking going to be hard, but you've got to find out what your compression testing numbers are. Maybe if you're at a tournament, let's say Short Porch is at a tournament. You're at a tournament, you're murdering the ball, right? You grab that bat, you go to Short Porch and have them compression tested. Let's say it's at 190, that's your number. You need to remember that's your number. Unless you start losing bat speed or getting older or an injury, that's your number. So remember that number. Everybody should have a number when it comes to compression testing. That's your number. And the variance could be like 170, 185, 190, 195. So you have that number in there that you can use, right? Not with Kevlar. I'm not talking about Kevlar. I got to keep saying that. I'm talking about all the other past, even ours, the Zoc composite, even that, right? But all the other bat companies I'm talking about those numbers. So how do you do this? Do you buy a $1,200 bat compression tester? Or do you buy one and start charging $5 to compression test to recruit your money back? Or do you have Short Porch has some, right? Or you have Short Porch bats I think this is what's got to happen. Todd Cox can be in Florida, and I'm not putting pressure on Todd because I know he's going to come in here in a minute. Todd Cox is going to be in Florida or wherever else, else they're playing, and he has a compression tester. If you like your bat, run over there. Doesn't matter. The way we are, we don't give a shit if you're buying it from someone. And we're not going to try to sell you one from us, a Short Porch bat. If you swing at a bat, you run over there, have Todd compression test that bat. And because you're killing it with that bat, that's your number. And you have a variance. It could be, depending on your bat, there you go. Depending on your bat, on what manufacturer you buy from, it could go plus or minus. But that's your number, right? So I think that's when you talked about compression testing, that's what we've fallen into. If you get on other bat companies, if you get lower, you might want to give that bat to someone else that has less bat speed than you are, because that's a category that he's going to fit in. If your bat speed's 80 miles an hour, and then you bring that under that ideal number on compression that you have for that 80 miles an hour. If your bat speed is still at 80 and that lose compression, you got to give that bat to somebody that has a 70 mile an hour bat speed, and he'll benefit more from it, as long as it's not cracked, he'll benefit more from it than you would. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about all these compression. Compression is going to have a lot to do with, I said back in the day, I'm not a big compression testing guy, only when it comes to what I want. Ken Vandergaard talked about this too. He has a compression tester. He knows his number that he needs to get at. He'll hit a bat, break it in until it gets that number, and then boom, he shuts it off. And then he gets another bat and starts hitting that MVP to get those numbers up. I think that's the only thing. Problem with that is they're expensive. I have one here, that I keep in the garage, but that's for me before we hit Short Porch bats. We'll compression test them. We'll get 100 swings into them. We'll compression test them again to see how far. That's how come when I'm talking about Zoc composite, I'm talking about Kevlar composite, I can tell you there is a big difference in the ones when they're dropping. Nobody has the Kevlar that we use, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. Nobody has, our Kevlar is something, the way it's made with Short Porch is something different when it comes to what we're getting, the numbers we're getting off of it. So the variance has gotten bigger on those compression level numbers. I'm just talking about numbers. And I talked to my guys about this too when we first started getting the Kevlar, because we tapped into something we didn't even know about, right? It's not, and this is one thing I kind of trickle into later on, but it's not something nobody else has had. This is different stuff. It's nobody else has had that Kevlar before. A lot of people talk about, well, we used it 15 years ago. It's not the same Kevlar, guys. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, and I've done research on this when people are actually throwing shit against the wall and hopefully it will stick about, well, I've used a Kevlar 15 years ago. Not the same. And I don't understand why I don't know that. It's been 15 years. You think shit stays when it comes to composites and comes to rosins and resins, and it stays the same as it was 15 years ago? I remember the aluminum days. It came out with C405 aluminum, CU31 aluminum. I mean, it had all that shit. Every year they'd come out with different shit. Anyway, the composite testing, the compression testing is something that I think, I just saw something here. And I don't need that thing to turn off. The compression testing is something that I think each individual should have that number in their head going forward. We talk about the movement, guys. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the movement. It wasn't like this years ago. You know, everybody just thought one bat fit all. No, it's not. Leslie talked about it last night. It's no longer one bat fits all. So the 220s are in, yes. And did you call me? Oh, that's Clem. I'm sorry. The 220s are in. Richard, I'm picking mine up in Florida. Or excuse me, I'm picking ours up in Florida. So the compression testing, everybody that's watching this tonight, women and men, need to know what their number is. The way to get that number is if you have a bat that is performing really good for you and you're not getting that imploding, right? I'm just telling you, if you love that bat, you had the greatest tournament in your life, don't hit it anymore. Bring it to one of the tents, do compression testing on it, find out what that compression level is, that number is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the best way. I think that is crucial into your batting average going forward, the way the bat swings for you, because apparently if you're having great tournaments, you already like the weight distribution numbers. Plus, weight distribution has a lot to do with that too. You know, so compression, it's a bat that you like. Get your numbers checked on it. You're basically what I would do too, because I'll have my stuff up in Florida. I'll have my end loaded. I'll have my weight distribution numbers that I go by. I'll have all that there when I'm up there with Sarah and Todd. So I will have all that there. I had it up in Vegas when I was with me too. So if you guys were looking for a bat that we had that would compare to the bat that you were trying to get out from under, I would actually tell you exactly what bat ours that you can swing, that just walk right into it, start hitting just like you were. That's another thing too. I can talk to you guys about that when we get up there. Dang it. I'll talk about that one at the end. How far am I into this? Going on an hour. I was going to try to get out of here. There was a something that was put up. Weight distribution on the 28-ounce soup bat. Soup. See, you guys got me thinking if that's wrong or not. Sup bat on the 28-ounce had a 9.1 on the hands, and it had an 18.4 on the end. That's what that had, which were big numbers considering 28-ounce should have 17.8 on the end, so it was weighted a little bit heavy on the end. But you should already know that, Clem. There was something put up the other day that I talked a little bit about it last week, but I want to talk about it a little bit this week. I'm not going to go too far into this because, you know, I know you guys stick around for an hour and a half anymore. I'm going to try to. My wife says I need to cut them short, shorter. There was something talked about steroids. I really don't think I really don't think steroids in today's senior softball market, I don't think it's as bad as it was when I was going up and playing regular ball, because you've seen it everywhere when I was going up and playing ball. The one thing, and I did ask this question on there, I said, are you talking about testosterone replacement therapy? And he said, no, just talking about steroids. There are, I can see guys that you could see that would push that envelope where I would say that they're on something, but they're few and far between. I don't see a lot of them. Major plus level, what I did see a lot in that major plus level was a lot of guys on TRT and working out. They weren't big enough where I would say, okay, he's taking DECA, or he's taking Tren, or he's taking any other, what was the biggest one that they took back in the day was Winstrol, Nandrolone, shit like that. I never put them in that category, because there's things that would happen to them. They would get a lot bigger than what I did see with a lot of seniors out there is they're taking TRT and getting their body in shape. There was no big muscles. There was fit people. There's a lot of fit seniors playing in that major plus level. Nothing where I saw, probably less than, I'd say a handful. And the whole time that I was doing it, guys, I'd say a handful of guys were taking steroids that were in their 50s and 55s and 60s, because that's when I played it. All the way through those 10 years, I played Major Plus. And about a handful. What I did see is a lot of seniors serious about playing at that level. A lot of seniors that were serious about putting in the work. And you would see them put in the work. Not necessarily guys. I seen more, man. Guys, I seen more back in the 80s and 90s of abusing the shit. I don't see the abuse anymore. So I just wanted to get that through. And another thing too, they actually said HGH. HGH is not classified as a steroid. HGH is classified. We have a human growth hormone in our brain, in our pituitary gland. We have that. I wouldn't even consider that. Neither is TRT considered a steroid. HGH is not considered a steroid. There are men out there that do take HGH, and that's basically the heal faster. There were some baseball players that got caught taking HGH, and it was basically a pitcher got caught taking HGH, and basically he was older, and he was trying to make it through the next time that he would have to pitch again. HGH does make you heal a lot faster. It doesn't make you stronger, unless you take gobs and gobs of it, make you a little bit stronger. But a lot of the guys take it for healing. A lot of the bodybuilding guys take it for healing, repairing tissue, muscles, because they're breaking them down so fast. A lot of people in Hollywood take it for their face, the complexion, to make them look younger, lose a little bit of weight. You just can't look like Thor taking HGH. You gotta add other stuff in there. To probably some of the stuff he was taking, but he was stacked on by, and he wasn't taking no TRT either to be Thor. He was taking some stuff to bulk him up really fast. So it's not as bad as it used to be, because it was bad back in the day, guys. It was horrible. Peptides, that's another one too. I have a lot of people asking me about peptides. HGH is a peptide, guys. I don't know if you knew that or not. Human growth hormone is a peptide. There's so many amino acids that are in HGH. You have a peptide that is BPC 157. That's a peptide. You have a peptide that is a TB500. That's a peptide too. Do you research, guys, on healing your body? I would recommend to anybody who has any kind of connective tissue damage to look into getting on a peptide, BPC 157. I'm not talking about long-term either. I'm talking about short-term. BPC 157 healed my meniscus tear a few years back in my right knee, and I don't have any trouble to this day, knock on wood, in my right knee. So those are just little things that that I would point you in the direction to actually to look into if you are sitting at home. and you are you are sitting at home or laid up, a knee injury, an ankle injury, knee replacement. Actually, they didn't make it harder. They actually sell BPC 157 in a nasal spray right down the street from where I live. Cost Plus Nutrition has it, and you can get it with them. Guys, I'm just going to give you a name, Mr. John. There is SeniorSoftballBatReview-YouTube.com. SeniorSoftballBatReview-YouTube.com. I bought stuff from him before when it comes to a peptide. He's reasonable, but he is not faked. He actually has the stuff that he has a lot of the stuff that I bought from him before. I bought some from other people before, but I bought from him. He has a lot of videos out there on YouTube about it, talking about it. He knows what he's talking about, and it's called New S.A.R.M.S. And look into what he is selling, because he does have some quality stuff. He's pricey, but he does have some quality stuff. And remember, guys, a peptide comes in a powder form. You got to mix it with backwater to get it where it's, you know, in that small little thing. You take it out in a little insulin needle, and you'll inject it over the shoulder, pinch it. It's like a diabetic needle, insulin needle. And you got to pinch it and then go underneath the skin, and it goes up into the, actually helps heal. But before you do any of this, guys, please type it in your computer, get on YouTube, listen to the people talk about it, all right, before you get into any of this stuff. It is not for the weekend warrior. It's for the guys that want to get get healed up, healthy and healed up again. And it's not long-term, guys. I never took it more than 3 months whenever I was healing my meniscus. And I told my doctor I was taking it. So anyway, those are little things. I do want to talk about something. I don't really want to get into it. And I don't want to debate you. I really don't. So if you're up here to debate, I don't want to do it. There was some things that were said a few months ago about Kevlar. And I kind of let it go, because they were saying that they tried it before and it was too fragile. And I will say this, of Kevlar, there is a certain type of Kevlar that is fragile. That Kevlar is old school Kevlar. All right. It is, wow. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to all this tonight. So, and then there was and I kind of let that one go, man. And I kind of let it go a little bit about this Kevlar that was being used a lot, 15, 20 years ago, when 15, 20 years ago, whenever they were using it, because Worth was using it years ago. And there's a name of this Kevlar, and it's actually an old type of Kevlar that's not being used in our bats. So the one thing, I can't let that go down, because that's where it's called S.A.R.M.S Kevlar. Now, this person, and has his name on a bat, and he put out a long email, and I wanted to address what he had said. And he works for a big bat manufacturer out there, and I just want to address what he said. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm not to talk about the company either. But he says, we actually produce our own carbon fiber and our own Kevlar, aka S.A.R.M.S Kevlar. Guys, S.A.R.M.S Kevlar was made 15, 20 years ago, and it's actually old school Kevlar. They don't make that Kevlar, and they don't put it in products anymore, because they have found out that it's not as good as some stuff that is being made right now. We do not use that Kevlar. So one thing, when we started getting hacked on or trashed a couple of months ago. They didn't even know what Kevlar we use. And I'm not going to sit there and go into what Kevlar we use. So we don't use that Kevlar. So when these people are talking about, even this one guy that as self-proclaimed best bat builder in the world, and he puts out a great bat every year, has said that they use that Aramid Kevlar. Well, I would, if I was arguing with him, I said, why are you using that? Because it's been 20 years ago Kevlar. The Kevlar that a lot of these people think that we use, we don't use that. We do not use that Kevlar. And I didn't understand why they were talking about what they were talking about. I'm like, dude, you don't even know how we made it. You're sitting there throwing stuff, but you don't know how we made it. That's the only thing I want to say about that. And I don't want to get too far into it, because what I want to do when it comes to this stuff is say, time out. We don't use that Kevlar. I don't know why you're talking so much shit or putting out videos, but we don't use that Kevlar. This is different. This is different. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's different. If you talked to Leslie last night, girl knows her shit. Right? So no, she's the girl. She's the girl that does all this stuff. So Jeff is the guy that does the numbers. He puts everything together. Them two working together, you know, with a Christian in there, you know, can do amazing shit, and they are doing amazing stuff. So it's not a great representative when you start talking this, and I'm going to correct you on it. We don't use that. We don't. I'm just telling you, we don't use that shit. That's old school shit. And you're sitting there saying you use it, you know, and I have it right here in front of me. Matter of fact, what I might do is I might post this on that membership channel, because I do open up, and I do talk to them guys a little bit more. So I'm gonna put this probably on that membership channel, go into detail when I'm talking to those guys. So I just wanted to clarify that, because there has been people out there spewing not the truth when it comes to Kevlar, and we don't use that Kevlar. And let me explain to you okay, going from that into something that I wanted to talk about is, when I talk about compression testing numbers, and I talk about, you know, how fast or how slow, or what are the compression testing numbers I'm talking about short porch Kevlar, okay? It's a totally different monster, because this is something that Short Porch has developed. Only Short Porch has developed. So what we're getting with, because you guys remember, and I said this in another video, what we're getting with the Kevlar is you have 4 different tiers. You got medium, you got slow, you got medium, and you got fast bat speeds. We're not getting that with a Kevlar. We're getting a totally different, where you're integrating them into each other. So the numbers are further apart, right? We're getting bats that a 50 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour person up to a 80 mile an hour person can actually get great response off the barrel. We never got that in any other bat. So you gotta just bear with us, because this is new territory on the development. When you develop something with new tech, you really don't know everything about it until you get out there and do R&D. You do what they call it, a bro science on it, right? So when you get out there and do bro science, and you start, oh my God, look at this. Look at the numbers I'm putting up. At a 160 compression, Adrian, Paco, David, they were there. At a 160 compression, you're hitting exit velo numbers at 95. Never in any other bat have we done that. And they were there when we were doing it. It's on that membership channel, us doing it and talking about it. I'm like, Jeff, look at this. You got a 160 compression, 155 compression, pulling it in 95 mile an hour on exit velo on a senior bat? 60-year-old. A badass 60-year-old, but still. Those are the kind of numbers that we're getting with Kevlar. You know, it's just a totally different monster. We got to write everything down when we do it. We got to document everything down, because this is new. It's not that old shit that they're talking about. It's this is just new product out there now, and we're documenting it because it's new territory for us. It's new tech. That's when you develop new shit, what you have to put up with. That DDT, that DDT bat, we're getting stuff through the roof on that bat. And we have to take our time to put it out, because there's new shit coming up every day, even today, on that bat that we were not prepared for. So we have to we just can't throw it out there. Well, here you go, guys, just have at it. And Kevlar, we're not going back. Kevlar is going to be here on out. We've already know what it can do. because we have the numbers. We're doing the testing. What better person to talk to about it except for us? Not everybody else out there that just thinks that they did it shit 20 years ago and they think they're brainiac on it, So no, definitely. And another thing too, what other place? If you go to, you go to Florida, are you going to see anybody else that has a tent out there that has the engineers sitting at the tent? You go to Vegas next year. How many people are going to be sitting in that tent with the engineers in that tent to actually talk to you guys about bats? I don't see any. The one thing I will say, I'm done talking about that. The one thing I will say, guys, too, is it's the La Familia, and they talked about it a little bit last night. It's the La Familia that everybody that's chiming in tonight is talking. Everybody that's actually everybody is talking. You have Jeff in here answering questions. You have Clem and you have Trey in here. You have Bob. I seen Di. You have Jaeger in here. You have Rachel. You have Stacy. And I know I'm missing some people, but they're in here answering questions. Where else do you see that? ASA, USA bats are still in testing. And yes, they're still in testing. Let me talk about Florida. I leave on the 28th. I'll be in Savannah, Georgia to the 30th. 30th, I'm going down. I'll be there till the 2nd. Todd will be there. Todd will have, let me talk about Todd here a minute. Todd will have whiteouts, blackouts, balanced wig popper, the new ones that are coming out next week. I think we're going to go Facebook Live next Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about that balanced wig popper that's coming out. It's the blue one. It's going to be Kevlar. The blackouts, Todd will have a few of those, and he'll have some of the whiteouts, guys. Out of Short Porch, we are sold out of Todd Cox bat. We're sold out of the blackout, and we're sold out of the chocolate milkshake, guys. If you have a chance, you got to have somebody that has that chocolate milkshake, Kevlar, USSSA bat, and you got to swing that bat. That bat is amazing. Okay, I don't get pumped about USSSA bats, and I haven't in years, right? But I swung that bat last week. I might put up a video on it this weekend. I swung that bat 2 weeks ago last time we swung. That bat is freaking amazing. So definitely that chocolate milkshake, but we sold out. It's Kevlar. And it's a balanced chocolate milkshake bat. So we're sold out of the blackouts. We are sold out of Todd Cox bat. We got a few of the whiteouts that are available at Short Porch. Todd will have a few cases of bats from what I was. We have the Moon Doggy coming out. That's another U-Trip bat. A lot of you guys are asking me privately if we have any U-Trip bats. Guys, we have a ton of U-Trip bats, that are still with that Zoc composite. And then we got the Moon Doggy coming out with his a Kevlar bat. That's a U-Trip bat too. So definitely have. There was something else I was going to talk about. I'm done with that stuff. You can get out of there. But I will be in Savannah on the 28th. A lot of you guys are telling me the older guys start earlier. I might talk to Jeff about heading up there earlier. So I don't know what he's got going on. I know they play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we fly out of there on Sunday. But definitely try to get... To actually meet a lot of you older guys, because I think he's playing 50s, and I know a few of those guys that are playing. Richard, you don't need no 26-ounce bats, 28-ounce bats, excuse me. There was a question out there, and I want to get to this too, about these are questions that I want to answer before I get off. Kind of talk at the end a little bit here too. How long does it take a product to, in other words, a bat or a ball? Like if you guys, like it's 30, gonna be 35 degrees outside. If I don't have my balls in the house, how long does it take that ball to warm up, guys? Now, you got to figure if it's in the garage and it's in there for 12, 20, let's say it's in there for 24 hours, that core of that ball is going to be 35 degrees or maybe a little bit less, about 40 degrees. So when you take that out, how long does it take to warm that ball up? I heard 7 days is what I heard. Matter of fact, Jeff told me 7 days for that ball to get at 80 degrees or 85 so it can actually lose because that ball's going to be hard. What I see, and I'm saying this because I know a lot of you guys set those balls somewhere where it does get cold, unless you set them in your bed next to you, especially during this weather. And if you put them out there for 12 hours, they're going to get cold. You know, if you put them out there, I say 12 hours because usually when it warms up in the morning, guys, don't swing your bats this time of year. There's no way. If you have your bat in the garage, you have your bat in a car, that it's going to take a long time, that bat sitting in the sun, to actually have it where that bat's not going to be damaged. And it's the damage that actually makes it break prematurely. It's just not the cold bat. It's the damage that when it's cold, it does to that bat. The ball creates more damage. Yes, that is true. But still, that bat shouldn't be swung in 55, 60 degree weather. And I know because you guys are playing this next weekend or this weekend, SSUSA, your bats are going to be cold. You know, so I know it kind of sucks, but still, every time you take it out there in 50 degree weather, you're damaging that bat. You're damaging that rosin, that adhesives in that bat. So that's somebody that's the sucky part about it, because it just doesn't warm up when you put them in the sun. It takes a while to warm up. There was something that was said, and these are things that I'm pulling off Facebook. There was something that was said, curious why most of the bats being sold on this site are short porch bats. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. For one, we sell a lot of bats. We sell out a lot of bats. So when a lot of people are out there buying our bats and then they pick them up and maybe you're thinking this bat doesn't fit their swing because their miles per hour aren't what is suitable for that bat. And that's one thing we're trying to push. A lot of you guys aren't slowing down, taking your time and listen to us talk about what's better bat for you because of your miles per hour. So you'll buy a bat that necessarily you're overpowering, or you buy a bat that's too stiff for you and you don't like it. You're saying it doesn't perform, and then you turn around and sell it. Well, that's one of the reasons too that a lot of people see our bats being sold out there. Bat didn't fit your swing. We sell a lot of bats. I think the main reason why a lot of our bats are being sold is because a lot of bats I see being sold are a lot of the old bats, the Z.O.C. composite bats. I think because we have all these new bats coming out at the end of the year, a lot of you guys aren't playing tournaments. So I think a lot of you guys are selling your bats to get money to pay because the wife said no more. You know, I've been there, done that. The wife is saying no more. You're going to have to find a way to afford these bats. So, okay, I'll just sell my old ones. So your wife is going to sell the old ones and you can buy some new ones of the Kevlar or the DDT. So you guys ain't dumb. I know what you're doing. Or you ladies out there aren't dumb. I know what you're doing. You don't want to piss the spouse off. So you go out and you start selling your stuff. And then people sit like, oh, shit. You know, but it's all old shit. I don't... Well, I don't understand you guys are saying that, because I look at it as just getting rid of the old, getting the new. Hell, I did that with Senior Softball Bat Reviews. Every time I finished the tournament, when I finished a review, I'd turn around and sell the bat to get new bats that are coming out down the market. So definitely. Ron, you're such a dick. So definitely, I think that's the problem. We're making shirts, actually, Alan, and hopefully I might have them before I show up if Cage gets off his butt. Short Porch, Texas, making some shirts. As a matter of fact, Rachel, you need to get with you need to get with Cage and talk about these shirts. So you get West Coast on those shirts too. So we can have, and I think Alan started that when he started going Gulf Coast on a lot of his stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm going Shore Porch, Texas, and then we have a North Carolina. Is that what it is? Or South Carolina? Shore Porch, South Carolina, North Carolina. And then Shore Porch, Gulf Coast, West Coast. So definitely that. Outdated Kevlar. That's what I wanted to say. S.A.R.M.S Kevlar is outdated. And I think that's what a lot of people were talking about. I'm about done, guys. We will be, whenever I'm leaving next week to go to, I'm leaving next week to go to Florida. And again, let me talk about this because we're going to do some hitting when we're in North Carolina. Thank you, Clem. We're going to be doing some hitting down there. I think Alan has got the field for a day. And I'm going to be taking with me a few bats. This is one of them that I'll be taking with me. This is a 27 ounce. This thing's got like 10 swings on it. And Clem, no, it's not for you. It's a 27 ounce. I'll be taking a few bats down there, and I'll show you what I'll be taking. I do like this bat, guys. I do like the way this bat swings. This is the Team Short Porch. It's the Alan Hancock series right here. There it is. Alan Hancock. I know you guys got to reverse it to see that. Short Porch. Do you have okay, is that Short Porch? I forgot. I didn't even see it. You're from Pittsburgh, East Coast. Get a group, and let's put everybody in that group. So these are the bats that I'm going to be bringing to hit with. Todd Cox, that's his. They sold out of these, but I think Todd might have some in Florida. This is a 27 ounce. I freaking love this bat. It's a Kevlar bat. I love that bat. I'll be bringing these with me, Todd, when I go there to hit with Alan. And I know he was on here a minute ago. This is a prototype. This is Fat Guy BP bat right here. Freaking love it. No flex on the handle. Love the way it's loaded. 17.3 on the end. It's a 26.5, 17.3 on the end, and 8.3 on the hands. I love the way this bat sounds, and I love the way this is Fat Guy BP's bat that he'll be out. I think, Adam, if you're still on here, definitely not Clem, even though it does have a 17.3 on the end. But that bat will be out, I think, in end of February, beginning of March, Adam. If that Fat Guy, it's a March. There you go. It comes out in March. It's Kevlar, guys. This bat smoking hot and makes a different sound. I don't know if you've heard that either, Adam. It makes a different sound too. Those are the bats that I will have in Florida, plus one more that we're going to have at the tent, and we're going to be hitting it. It's going to be a surprise that we'll have in Florida. I will definitely have one or two of those with me, and I will have one or two of those coming back to San Antonio with me. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a surprise. I'll talk more about it next Wednesday when you guys tune in. The one thing I want to say, man, right now is every time I look at those numbers up there that we're pulling in, and for an hour and 23, 28 minutes, guys, I nothing but love for you guys out there that I never in a million years, I was talking to Jeff and Leslie about this the other day. I never thought in a million years I'd be doing this, spreading the word, spreading the knowledge, talking to people, spreading what Short Porch is actually doing. And I'm pulling in 60, average 60 people an hour that can hold the attention for that long a time, and helping people out. That's basically what we're here for. A lot of family. Rachel and Leslie talked about it last night, and I was like, we're not even starting 2000. Well, we're getting everything ready to start 2023, and we've pulling in this many people that are watching us And it's all because of you guys out there. It's all because of the Army that we have. And I called them the other day, Army. It's the Army that, you know, we sit here and we talk about it, but you guys get out there. Now the dentists, the guys get out there and talk about what we're doing and helping people out, you know, and we do have a small badass army out there with integrity that don't get in trouble, don't yell at umpires, just stuff like that, and carry themselves in a professional way. When it comes to promoting a product, that's basically what we're trying to build here. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. I really do. And I think Jeff and Leslie, well, when I talked to them yesterday, that was what they talked about. And I kind of wanted to talk about it tonight and tell you guys thank you very much. Without you guys, I couldn't be pulling numbers in like this. So I just want to say thanks for that. I'll see you guys. I'll be in either Savannah next Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I'll be there next Wednesday. And we're going to go on live out of Porch, and we've got some surprises we want to show you guys. Thanks for watching.